Hey everybody! So, I posted this video, the most overly hated level in a platformer, on Saturday, and it has gotten a very overwhelming response, to say the least. The YouTube algorithm has hit me, and it has hit me hard, and now the video has 6,000 views. As a result of these 6,000 views, there are a ton of comments sparking discussion around Sonic 3 zones, and in particular why Sandopolis is hated, and I love this, because this is exactly what I wanted out of this video. There are so many comments. I've been trying to read all of them, but I haven't been able to get to all of them, mainly because new ones are coming in seemingly all the time. Like, all these ones I haven't read yet. So I've decided the easiest way for me to respond to as many as I can, and to also clarify a couple things about the video that were maybe not clear enough, is to make a video responding to them. So, let's waste no further time and begin. Now it's time to defend Marble Garden. Fair. Someone probably should. I mean, I don't like Marble Garden Zone, but that doesn't make it a bad zone. I would love to hear a defense of it. Waiting for a video like this. There was actually a few videos beforehand defending Sandopolis, you just had to look for them. To tell you the main reason why everybody hates Sandopolis, length! More specifically, it's too fucking long. That is a complaint I can agree with. The level does overstay its welcome a bit. I would prefer if some parts were cut out, you know, like climbing down the trapeze rope. I don't know exactly what that's called. Some people named it in the comments, and I can't remember what it is at the moment. Like, that isn't really needed. Neither are some of the rising sand. Like, maybe there's one big long rising sand section that probably could be trimmed out a bit. Some parts definitely could be cut out. I believe the 90 out of 100 players who played Sonic 3 Knuckles have at least gotten at least one time over, and I definitely have. I've had that experience. Almost all those time overs happened in Sandopolis Act 2. Well, there is one other level they could happen in at least, but you know, feeling more like something you'd see in Sonic 06. Are you really about to compare Sandopolis Act 2 to Sonic 06? I don't mind Sandopolis, but it's harder as Knuckles. This is one thing that I should have stated in the video. I have not played Knuckles' campaign in Sonic 3. I've only played as Sonic, so I can't say anything about how this level is as Knuckles. Knuckles can't jump as high, and also he has to deal with the ghosts from the start. Protect yourself from ghosts. The bane of existence is the sand slide. Another thing I agree with. The sand slide is probably the worst part of the level design. To advance on the right track. Then comes Lava Reef, my favorite zone. I'd have to agree with that, honestly. 3D Sonics for the first time last year as an adult. Group 3D Sonic wanted to see how they fared. Out of all the zones of the game, you hated Marble Zone the most. It almost made you bench the game when playing. And Marble Zone isn't that bad to me, but it is very slow, kind of not that exciting. Your least favorite zone is Flying Battery, you still don't know why, and Oil Ocean 2. I understand not liking Flying Battery, but like after playing Sonic Mania's Flying Battery is like the GOAT. The original Flying Battery though, it's like, Act 1's fun. Act 2, little less so. The music's awesome though, and I think that really carries it for me. By the way, I heart every comment that I've read. Don't get the hate, its gimmicks are really fun, the rest of the game was way too easy anyway. I don't know if I'd agree with that, but you know. The rest of the game is like this, I'd see why people love it so much. There's so many more obnoxious levels anyway. Stuff like the ghosts are comically simple to deal with that I never saw until after my initial playthrough. It has some neat intention, and it's visually pleasing. If it's not pronounced Hydra City, I don't care. I'm gonna keep saying Hydra City and you can't stop me. Don't think Sandopolis is even that bad. Besides, we actually accidentally grabbed those stupid swinging things in Act 1. Oh yeah. So like, there's some people who pointed out in the comments, you can just run past the trapeze rappel rope things. I always just grab them anyway, because I don't really care about finishing the level as soon as possible, but if you want to keep your speed, you might want to avoid grabbing those. Had me until you started dissing Carnival Night. Well, you had me until you were a Carnival Night fan. I'm kidding. There are definitely reasons to enjoy Carnival Night, and I don't want to take that away from anyone. Like, I don't like the level myself, but I don't want to say that it's a bad level. Like, a couple things to clarify about my video that I should have clarified in the video. Number one, this video is all my opinion. I might present some things as fact when it's really just my opinion. I was going to add a pop-up, a disclaimer at the start that clarifies that, and then I forgot to. That definitely didn't help. Second thing is, at the end of the video I say, like, I think Sonic 3 would be worse if it didn't include Sandopolis in it, and the same goes for Marble Garden or Carnival Night. If you remove those levels, that wouldn't fix the problem. That would actually make the game worse. I appreciate those levels' existence, I just don't like playing through them. I think legit every stage in Shadow the Hedgehog is more overhated than Sandopolis. Well, I haven't played Shadow the Hedgehog, but I'm sure that's true. Honestly, I don't get the hate those damn ghosts, but other than that, it's a really good zone. I don't understand how this is the most hated zone. I thought Labyrinth Zone took that spot. Here, Sandopolis is a hated zone of Sonic 3, Labyrinth Zone's in Sonic 1. Those are two different games. I think the general consensus is that Labyrinth is worse than Sandopolis, which I'm not sure if I agree with, honestly. Labyrinth Zone's fun. It's definitely not what you look for when you play Sonic games. The reason for not liking Sandopolis Act 2 as much as others is compared to others, it feels more repetitive. Like, once you experience this rising stand and closing doors, that's mostly it. Every single possible variation on that. Probably not every single possible variation, honestly. That does deserve credit. Compared to other acts, doesn't want you to throw a whole lot newer. You or introduce a new mechanic that really mixes it up, like the Earthquake and Marble Garden 2. But, like, those are the new mechanics. Those are the new mechanics of Sandopolis Act 2, so, like, I don't know why they would suddenly throw a whole new mechanic in the middle of an act, but I guess that's been done before. It doesn't really need to do so, yeah. Makes level 3 more samey to you. I think your argument is it's too long, like, and I get that. It is a mite too long and could be cut down a bit, because repetitiveness, it usually comes from a level lasting a long time. That's why I don't like Carnival Night Act 2, because it lasts such a long time, and there's, like, nothing new. There's nothing that new or enjoyable about Act 2 compared to Act 1. So it just takes forever to go through, and it feels like such a slog. Like, whacking platforming set pieces in my Sonic game, more than other elements, is probably from your perspective. Definitely don't dislike it, never worthy of hate or growth of dread when it comes up. It's just the least good one. That's fair. It's like, the least good. One big problem, time limits. Not only is it long enough you could be killed by the overall 10-minute time limit, again, I do agree, you're constantly assaulted with time pressure throughout the zone. Figure out how to get off the infinite slide before time runs out. You get through the doors before they close on you. Remember to turn the lights again for the ghost attacks. Attacks with time-sensitive obstacles demand not only knowledge of the stage, but time-sensitive knowledge of the stage. I wouldn't say the doors are that hard. Like, maybe they are. The one with the rolling stone towards the beginning can be really annoying, but I find that the sections you have to go through to get to the closing doors are usually really short, and I think, actually, in the second half of the level, most of the time when you push open the door's right there, so it's not like it's hard to get to fast or anything. The door's just right there. Time size and pressure vents aren't unique to Sandopolis 2. Use them to obnoxious degrees, on top of being a relatively slow level, few opportunities to really go too fast and enjoy Sonic speed. That is true. Rising sand traps would have been a perfect opportunity to include a speed element by having the current long straightaways. I will agree that could have happened more, like, it could have been reminiscent of the lava chase in Marble Zone, that they incurred vertical shafts, which some people have said you can use Tails as flying abilities in some of the re-releases of the game, or is that in Sonic 3 and Knuckles Classic? I can't remember, but you can use Tails to get through those faster. I never play a Sonic and Tails, so I never thought of that. Just hurry up and wait embodied. I wouldn't say it's wait, there's very little wait time. You're kind of constantly moving forward, but yeah. I appreciate your take. Nah, Act 2 is still ass. Nothing to do with being too hard or stressful, it's the opposite, it's boring. Sucks for the same reason Marble Labyrinth does, linear pace breaking, challenges. Holy shit, okay. Arcade design is all about getting you from section to section, zero downtime, 30-minute arcade game. Well, this isn't an arcade game, so they probably took in elements of it being not an arcade game. They have roots in the arcade. That doesn't mean that their console games are definitely designed to be arcade games. The first playthrough won't be the last for majority of players, because first playthrough is orientation tutorial. Sandopolis is an example of poorly executed modern console design in a series that had a mostly arcadey mentality. Again, I don't think it's like 100% arcadey mentality. It's pushing fucking blocks. That is true. Swing ropes in Mushroom Hill. What's swing? Oh yeah, those. I didn't really like those, honestly. It's almost impossible to tell where you're gonna be going after you jump off of them. You already learned how it works 19 playthroughs ago, now you want to experiment finding new ways to engage with the level design. I'm glad to get this perspective. I think Sandopolis could have had more optional routes. Like, it does do the thing where you push something open and then a second door opens somewhere else. I think there could have been more of that secret route up in the ceiling that you could go to that was faster. Pushing blocks is already an evidently bad mechanic in this game, forces you to lose speed and wait a second. I've heard this complaint, I can agree. I'm just personally not that bothered by it. Like, again, I play Sonic 3 semi-casually. I'm not looking to rush through the game as fast as possible, so any slowdowns like pushing the blocks in Sandopolis Act 2, I'm just like, I'm okay with it. I can see how it can be praise-breaking for some, but I don't really care, and that's why I didn't bring it up that much in the video. Doesn't say the level's pacing issues go fast for a few seconds. It's not the same as interactive games. Yep, true. Going through a forced speed section is not the same thing as, like, actually getting that speed yourself. That is absolutely true. I'm just saying that, like, the level still feels a little faster, but yeah, it's not my strongest argument in that video. Not important for pacing or variety, one level randomly returns to breakout. Brother, if the players were bored of the main gameplay in the game, then they wouldn't be playing it. I guess that's just a thing that I have. I mean, I've always felt like Sonic levels could be a bit samey, and that, having something like Sandopolis Act 2 to come in and change the flow is a good thing, but yeah, that might just be a me thing. An individual game doesn't need variety beyond exploring the natural permutations of its core gameplay. It's like a Crash 3 is worse than 2 because it adds all these shitty gimmick stages instead of letting you just play. More organic variation in that case. It's more organic than any games. The game's controls or rules. Does Crash 3 have, like, vehicle sections? Because I know Spyro 3 has different characters, and not everyone is a fan of that. I liked the different characters in Spyro 3, though. I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree, but I do appreciate this perspective. I like how there's some people thinking I hate Marble Zone. I don't hate Marble Zone. In fact, out of all the levels I bring up in this game, I probably like, in this video, I probably like Marble Zone the most out of them. I really do like Marble Zone. I just brought up that it is not a very popular level. There we go. Gave you a reply. Hope you enjoy. I actually used to dislike many levels in S3 and K2, but eventually came to like them. I think besides replaying them was the ability to restart the ad from a checkpoint and to pause, and the remixed HD music. But I guess you're playing Sonic Origins? Not really sure. Very much used to dislike Carnival Night due to the music and how long it was. You were only allowed to like the level design by how lively the remix for it was. I'm not sure which Sonic 3 release you're referring to here, but oh yeah, Sonic Origins has different music for Carnival Night, which would probably help me a lot through that level. Sonic 3 Complete gives you the option to use that music for it too, so maybe I should try playing Carnival Night with that music switched on. I don't know anything about Far Cry, so I'm just gonna leave that heart and move on. I don't hate Sandopolis. One major reason it isn't as fun, momentum. One of the core parts of Sonic Stage's ability to keep momentum throughout the stages and the reason why the game's so replayable. Better you keeping the momentum, the faster and more satisfying a stage is. Yeah, the problem with my arguments, I guess, is that that's not how I play Sonic games. I just I play them semi-casually. I'm not looking to rush through them, so a level like Sandopolis Act 2 doesn't mind, I don't mind as much as someone who wants to keep momentum as much as possible. Because, like, the way my gameplay is probably filled with lots of moments where I lose momentum and I could have kept on a good pace if I was better at the game, but I like the pace that I'm going at, and I don't think Sandopolis is a huge pace breaker because of that. One of the many things games like Sonic 2 got so right, it's one of my favorite games to come back to. Problem with Sandopolis is almost all the stage gimmicks immediately kill any momentum that you have, and some are unavoidable, like the switches, true that. As well as the random sand walls that appear from the ground. Why do those exist? Yeah, true. I never brought those up just because, like, again, I don't care about them. You just, like, jump and then they disappear and that's it. But those are a little weird. A little momentum killing. We're probably saying it's too slow. It's not that it's slow, it's just the speed is so inconsistent overall feels wrong for a Sonic game. Definitely prefer a stage like this to one like Marble Zone. Oh no, you left a timestamp. I guess I have to open my video in another tab and go to that timestamp. Okay, they were talking about me not liking Carnival Night Zone. You like it, but nowhere near as much as everything else. I'm kind of on the same, with that. Like, I definitely don't hate the level. It's just, I hate the level relative to everything else in Sonic 3, which is all really good. So, it's good. It's a good level. I just don't like playing it as much as other levels. And I like to turn that into, I hate this level, because I just have more fun doing that. That's how I am. My face would listen to all that shit about my favorite level in the game. I'm assuming you're talking about Marble Garden? Yep, definitely. Don't think it's too hard or stressful, I just think it was drawn out for way too long. Again, I can definitely understand that. In my opinion, it's pacing problems, start and stop gameplay with switches and doors. We got another essay here. Rising Sand section. Act isn't terribly hard to know what you're doing. It's a fun boss and a really fun gimmick with the ghost. You could choose trade time for lower difficulty. And whilst Act 1 is somewhat worse, holy shit! Holy shit, new take here! Level 3 isn't terribly memorable, and I never, tend to never know where I am in it at any time despite playing the game for many years. Though I think its progression is way more, like, straightforward than something like Marble Garden, so Hey, look, Marble Garden Zones, especially its original incarnation, the Sega release. The sheer amount of gotcha traps, yeah. A little bit that despite struggling with the Barrel of Doom, was never really offended by the level, just assumed I was not skilled enough at the game. That might be my case, but like, something like Ice Cap will always be 10 times more fun to me than Carnival Night Act 2. An oversight of level design allows Knuckles to transition into Sonic's route and fight the boss, which is always one of the highlights of the levels for me. Again, I haven't played Knuckles' route, so I don't know of anything like that. Samus is great, also love. So I think you've committed a crime here? Probably. I always liked Sandopolis. Act 2 definitely gave me lifelong traumatic anxiety, but I love Desert Motif, and it being on Angel Island brings up a lot of interesting lore discussions, because the Golem monster you fight is a mid-boss, can be something maybe the kid knows. Love lore speculation. Bro's trying to be different? Not that different. There's a lot of people who agree with me. The problem with a lot of people that play Sonic only playing the levels once and sucking at them. The Mania level design critique makes no sense if you played the levels and figure out the mechanics already. Well, now, even when you have played Mania, like I've played Mania loads and loads of times, but some of those levels still feel like you're just going in a million different directions. Sometimes you're launched into an open space that has like 2 pathways that you're both now falling underneath, and like the level design is just all over the place. It's a truth about the game. Now, that level design might be very intricate, as you say, but you know, not just replaying it won't necessarily get you to understand it. Like, I don't really understand some of that level design, but I just play through and enjoy it anyway, because it feels like a roller coaster ride. That's my experience with Mania. Always thought the ghost was such a non-issue. Agreed. Mainly because it's a slow level. Agreed. Bro, I thought Sonic 3K was impossible because of the vines in Mushroom Hill. Like the spinny ones, or the ones you grab? Oh, the ones that hold you in place, and you have to spin dash to get away. It wasn't even where people hated the level. Hell's probably my favorite zone of the game. Carnival Night, though, yeah, that's no Casino Night zone. Casino Night is so fun, and Carnival Night is trying so hard to mimic it and not. I'm surprised that when people actually hate the zone, Marble Garden was way more obnoxious. I do wish to not start like a hate campaign against Marble Garden or Carnival Night. I bring them up as zones that I don't like in the video, and that I've always found more annoying than Sandopolis, but if we all start, like, hating on Marble Garden Zone, then we're just doing the same thing as all those people did to Sandopolis, and I don't think that would be very fair. That wouldn't be very fair of me. We can instead just agree to disagree with them, with the fans of Marble Garden and Carnival Night, because, like, I can see why the levels are liked. Not the biggest fan of Sonic Knuckles because of the earlier zones. When I first played through the game, got to Sandopolis, you actually quite liked the level compared to those earlier zones. You never even struggled on. If anything, you find Hydro City to be a lot. Find Hydro City harder. The second world harder than Sandopolis. That's interesting. Us in the game really do suck. I don't agree that having one at the end of every level is bad. I like that there's one at the end of every level. I just think, like, the first boss of the game is literally just jump over him, hold your position, you win. How's that challenging at all? Sonic Mania's first Act 1 boss is great by comparison. I think my main problem with Sonic 3 bosses is that there's a lot of them that feel like they demand their own pace, like Lava Reef Act 2 especially. Like, you have to beat that level within the game's own time. If you want to beat it any faster, no, you can't. Fuck you. Do I heart that? Yes, I do. Bro, like Sandopolis. Prayer for me. Always love Sandopolis. Has outhood to Smith's fear, and it's not even really slow. Do people just get tilted by the ghosts as kids? Sandopolis Act 2 is a carefully crafted illusion of a maze. All of it is designed to make it feel like a labyrinth. Well, it kind of is a labyrinth. It's supposed to be a labyrinth anyway. But, you know, the level design is actually pretty straightforward. Using visual stress can use mechanics designed to frustrate. Stress is always negative. In many cases, it is positive. Illusion of stress to accomplish rising tension for the game's big climax, which starts at Lava Reef Zone. Like, I totally agree. I mean, like, the level wanted to make you feel lost and confused in something, and they 100% achieved that. The level 100% did its job. Lava Reef feels like a much better level than it is because of the tension set by Sandopolis. The level itself is very straightforward, loaded secrets and shortcuts. Okay, you're talking about Sandopolis here. I don't know if it feels like a much better level than it is. It's just a good level, I think. I think Lava Reef is a fantastic level. It might be my favorite zone in the game. Like I said, they're designed to induce stress. The level's length is another stress-inducing tool. The reason why the level's so hated is because it's designed to stress the player to create a positive release of stress once you enter Lava Reef. Stress. That was a lot of stress. The same levels are used the same way Water Tub for Ocarina of Time is. I don't think it's an illusion of stress. I think it actually is stress. Like, this level is stressful. The only reason I'm so chill playing it now is because I've played it a billion times. I know what the deal is. I know how to beat it. I'll just do that. Hypersonic cheeses the whole level. Yeah, I never use hypersonic, even if I unlock them. Which I haven't ever, legitimately. Here's only ever been attacked by them a few times. I did like how, in my script, I wrote, I have never been attacked by the ghosts. But actually, while I was recording bonus footage, I did unintentionally get attacked by the ghosts. So I had to change it, because then I would sound very... Then that would be a lie. Act 1's pretty fun, too. Yep. Wait, people don't like Sandopolis? After Hydrocity? Oh. You're trying to correct me on the pronunciation. I see how it is. I'm continuing to say Hydra City. It's how I've always said it. And it's how I always will. Like Sandopolis Act 2 for Super Tails. Ghosts versus Super Flickies, anyone? Never tried that, because I only ever play as Sonic. It's hard to play as another character and not have those elemental shield abilities. I get so used to them, and I love them. And I also love the inst shield for attacking bosses, so like it's hard to go without. The actual worst levels game, and lo and behold, you name them one after another for me. I'm starting to think that my opinions aren't actually that unpopular in the first place. Later, just abhorrent. Alright, that's going a little far. I think they're fine, but, you know, you're creating music, I'll die in the hell, I don't care. Act 1's theme, it might be my least favorite music in Sonic 3, but it's still fun. There's enjoyment to be had listening to that. It's really Act 2 where they just take Act 1's music and cut some parts out, because they needed to meet the release deadline that I don't really like. So many people missed the slide transfer. I assume you mean the ending? Yeah, they do. That's why that part sucks, because it's so weird. Like, those infinite slides don't really belong in Sonic games, in my opinion. They've been split in half to make 2 separate zones, in other words. What? That's responding to the whole video. No, I don't agree with... I think it should remain 2 acts. I'm not sure what this is responding to. Just my one offhand comment about it being long? Well, yeah, it's long. I can understand people not liking the Ghost of Act 2 is super easy to deal with. Certainly near my favorite, but never on bottom list for me. The Act 1 boss is always pretty underwhelming. Wouldn't call that a bad thing. Well, some people did point out for this video that you can hit the dude into the sand, and I never thought to try that somehow. I've always just stood there and watched him jump in because it's really funny, and I think I will keep doing that in the future because it's just really funny, but like, it is super odd compared to some others. I mean, like, there are some other lame mid-bosses, but there's a lot of better mid-bosses than that. Like, a lot of the classic bosses, and again, you like the classic games generally. The infinite slide isn't even that hard to figure out. I guess they give you that swinging platform to try and indicate, but it's still just a weird thing that, like, oh, you must jump to this other thing that, like, you're not even sure you can land on because it's in the background. And so, like, you don't really know, you never really can tell that you can land on it. It's just, it's a weird section of the level, and I think they should have cut it out and focused on the actually good parts. Those are what I think are good parts. I don't know about anyone else's opinions. Love Sandopolis unironically, same here. Barrel of Doom and huge maces aside, find Carnival Night and Marble Garden to be pretty fun. True that. Also, the Barrel of Doom isn't even my, like, problem with Carnival Night, because there was a comment that rightfully mentioned, hey, buddy, you mentioned that Sandopolis Act 2 gets better on replays, but the Barrel of Doom also gets, like, is no problem anymore on replays. Why didn't you say that? And, like, yeah, I agree with that. I was mainly using it as an example because I do think it is genuinely bad game design. That barrel sucks in terms of game design, but, you know, once you know how to get past it, of course, on a replay, it's no problem. The rest of the level is just still annoying, in my opinion. Is the best level in Sonic & Knuckles? Yeah, it's... might be. I really just don't like Sandopolis because the ghost gimmicks pushing triggers the sand about to drown you. If you don't have at least Hypersonic for the level, you're either timing out or down. I would think Hypersonic makes it harder, because in some of those cramped spaces, you rush so fast, you could always get yourself, like, under a crusher immediately. I also love the edit, but I understand where you're coming from. I guess you were commenting this as you were watching. Level design's good, it's just the second act is because of the sand, and only the sand, no other reasons, just the sand. Also, great intro, thanks. The vibe is Kino. Not sure what that means. You left a different comment, I'll heart this one instead. This should have more views. Well, honestly, for my standards, it has plenty of views. Yeah, Act 1's boss is a little dumb. It's kind of funny, and maybe with the hit him into the pit strategy, it could be better, but, you know, not exactly a hater, but you think both Sandopolis and Marble Garden Zone are overhated when Carnival Night and Flying Battery exists. Flying Battery is awesome music, though, and that's the whole reason why I like the level. Okay, looks like I have hit the bottom of all new comments. I have read these ones, I just don't feel like hearting them for whatever reason. Are there any held for review? No, okay. Oh, wow. See what I mean? 2 new comments just came in. Worst zone. Still better than half of Sonic 3 zones. Okay. That's fair. I guess me hardened comment is considered to be respond. You know what? In that case, fucking get these out of here. Desert Dazzle is exclusively, that's what it was called. I couldn't remember its name. Exclusively planned for the 2011 remake. I did put that in the video. I didn't word it as the 2011 remake. I said for Sonic CD's mobile and console ports. Because I think when I wrote that part of the script, I was assuming Sonic CD was going to have one. Then I found out while actually like looking shit up about it, because for some reason I wrote the script before actually researching that it was for the remake and not the original. I missed that little part, and so I added that little text blurb in the video responding to that. Okay, just came to when I heard it. You came to. All right, so there's one comment. Bros paid to like sand. Oh yeah, there was this comment that I wanted to bring up here. Because Act 2 sucks. Main mechanic is too constraining. First point, you have to deal with both ghosts and darkening the screen, which isn't very pleasant to look at. I actually think the darkening screen effect is really nice looking and well done for a Genesis game. In terms of hazards, they tend to focus on wasting time. The pillars that shoot up and down, is those... You mean the big ones, not the sand pillars. I guess they can kind of waste time. Like, if you fail to do a challenge, like the rolling stone to the closing door at the start of the level, if you fail to do that, you do have to spend a long time bouncing back up there, pushing the rolling stone again. Slower tempo, the music really drives the stuff home. I don't know if it's that slow tempo. It's sapping away the energy Sonic levels usually have. Dude, how can you listen to this and not feel energy? Like, there is a lot of energy. Sure, it's not as, like, upbeat and super fast as other tracks, but there's definitely an energy going on there. I have to disagree with you there. Rooms are pretty small, leading to it feeling claustrophobic. Well, I think that's just one of the design philosophies of the level, and I don't see how that's a problem, exactly. It's a claustrophobic pyramid. That's the level environment, that's what you're gonna be going through. So that's pretty confusing. There's one, but... Sure, that one section. I guess since that section consists of multiple slides, maybe that's what you mean. Dealing with the ghost images, that makes it less fun to figure out what to do. They give you a switch in the middle of it. The ghosts aren't a problem there. They give you a switch as you're trying to figure it out. Like, on every loop, there's a switch there that you press. You're, like, thrown right next to it, so the ghosts don't really deal there. Impact your movement by only allowing you to jump. Yeah, like, on occasion. You can still kind of outrun them. You play Sonic & Knuckles as a complete game. This is the 9th zone in the game. By this point, you've already gone through a lot of better stuff. In my experience, by the time I reached Sandopolis, I've only been playing the game for an hour. And that's not very long. That's not a very long session. And in fact, the longest zones, like, everything from Lava Reef to the end takes way longer than you think it does. Like, it feels like it's going by in, like, 30 minutes when it's actually more like 45 minutes. So I definitely don't feel that kind of fatigue. I mainly want to bring this comment up because at the end, folks are allowed to hate things. You're acting like I said folks aren't allowed to hate Sandopolis. That's not the case. I was not saying that. Even if it might have sounded like I was presenting stuff as fact in the video, it was, in the end, all my opinion. And of course you're allowed to hate Sandopolis. Like, you never liked Sandopolis? Well, that's fine. We'll just agree to disagree on that. Nothing more. At least it's not a water level. Can you imagine if they pulled a Carnival Night Act 2 and just put a random flood in the middle? There are some responses to my comment about Carnival Night Act 2's water section being explainable by the fact that Angel Island is off in the ocean. I like that idea, but if that were the case, you'd think that would appear in more zones. I always loved Marble Labyrinth and Wacky Workbench. I have to disagree with Wacky Workbench. I don't like Sonic CD as a whole, though, so none of the levels in Sonic CD are really my favorite thing, except for Pomp Panic and Tidal Tempest. Those ones are good. The rest are fine. Marble Garden is okay. Carnival Night Zone isn't! Yeah, for this comment, like, I don't want to start a hate campaign for Marble Garden Zone either. I just bring them up as examples of levels I don't like, but, like, if we were to jump on a hate bandwagon for them, that's exactly what so many people have done for Sandopolis, and that wouldn't really be fair of me, so I also always love to see more Marble Garden hate, so, like, apparently Marble Garden isn't a well-liked zone, but, like, I don't think we should all jump against it, like, just as so many people have jumped against Sandopolis. Okay, this person made, like, a super long comment, time-stamping various points of my videos, and I wanted to respond to more of their points here, so let's go with that. Person wants to think the hate towards Metropolis and Labyrinth are very unfair and misguided. I do like playing through both of those zones, but I understand the complaints. For one thing, Labyrinth Zone is just a fucking slog in terms of pace. It's so slow, it takes forever to get through, but my mantra with Sonic 1 is you have to approach it as if you're not playing a Sonic game. Like, if you play it as an average platformer, stuff like Labyrinth Zone is not bad at all. Neither is Marble Zone, neither is any level in that game, really. If you're thinking you're gonna go fast and keep momentum in Sonic 1, then you won't enjoy it. But still, Labyrinth Zone, like, for that game's slower paced levels, Labyrinth Zone is still, like, super, super slow. But I enjoy it. What I really don't enjoy is Scrap Brain Act 3. But Metropolis Zone, I absolutely understand people's complaints. The obstacles are obnoxiously placed, and, like, there's so many, haha, gotcha, you couldn't see me coming in time, so I killed you. But, like, once you memorize that, through replayability, the zone is fun. I think my only problem with it is actually a problem, the main problem with Sandopolis Act 2. It's long! It takes forever to get through. In fact, like, Sonic 2 levels are shorter on the whole than Sonic 3, so Metropolis ends up being most of your playtime, in my experience. But anyway, I'd argue they do frequently have this sort of creativity. I've just always felt like Sonic levels put stuff in places and then you rush past them and then you never think about them again, but in this case, I was talking about, yeah, my example was right here where you have to use this to go above spikes. I really like this little bit because I just feel like this kind of stuff isn't that common in other levels, but that's just how I feel. It might be more common than I think, and I've only noticed it with this level because I have a bias for it. And here he's talking about this guy, the golem. I attached this guy's face on it. You can hit him, and if you hit him into the sand, it goes a lot faster. Now I know that. I should probably try that and see how much faster it is. I just never thought to try that personally. So I'm definitely glad to hear about the new stuff you can do to make some things better. That's the best wording I had for that. A lot of people's problem with this level is skill issue. The game can be fixed with mindset change. You actually try to do so. Do you think the early levels should have done to force you to get good at the game? I suppose so, yeah. Like, a lot of the early levels, they kind of feel like half of them is like, oh, look at Sonic going really fast through something, and then a very simplistic platforming section, and oh, Sonic's going really fast through something again. And there's not really a whole lot of need to master the physics, because most of the time when you're going through physics sections in the early levels, you've hit some kind of thing that zooms you past them anyway. I think people would like classic Sonic more as a whole if other levels were more Sandopolis-like. That's interesting, because a lot of people seem to think Sandopolis does that badly. But there's a lot of, like, interesting discussion here, and I'm so glad for it, because that's exactly what I wanted to do with this video. I was just worried that, as usual, it would get like 100 views and stop, and then no one would comment, but that is the opposite of what happened. Really like Sandopolis as a name, it's just generic, but it's iconic and fitting. Like Sonic games have a good trend of naming zones. Something Night, something Hill, something Opolis, like it's really cute. Sure, I get that, it's just, you know, level being long is a bad thing, really. Wow, unpopular opinion here. This is a great job leading to the monotony of slogging through desert. Creates nice contracts with a exciting climax of the end game starting right in the next level. It's just, you know, when you're playing a Sonic game, monotony of slogging through a desert isn't everyone's favorite thing. And I get that perspective, even if I might agree with this. Personally think Marble's nearly as slow as people say it is. Honestly, I'd argue something like Misty Cave is actually... Oh, you're talking about Marble Zone here. Well, yeah, I was just echoing a commonly said opinion. Marble Zone doesn't take that long to go through, but there are parts where you're just like sitting there on a block waiting. Of course, if you know what you're doing, you can like jump on something, jump up to the edge that you're supposed to reach on a moving platform through the lava. But you know, it's been popularly seen as a slow level, so that's why I brought it up as an example. If you have a second player or playing with an enhanced realistic game, you could choose Tails to assist. Yeah, it was you who mentioned this. I just never play a Sonic and Tails, so Carnival Night is actually the level I see get hated the most. So maybe Carnival Night is the most overly hated level in a platformer, and you know, that's entirely possible. I'd love for someone to make essentially this video but for Carnival Night. You might change my mind. If you watched my video and did not like my Carnival Night takes, you might change my mind. But if I see you claiming that the barrel is actually amazing game design, I'm clicking off right away. I'm kidding. That would be a very H-Barmer guy thing to do, though. The barrel was actually an amazing test of tedium and overcoming. No. Actually, I even hate Marble Garden more than Sandopolis. That's the vibe I'm getting from these comments. Misunderstood in very similar ways. People don't want to engage with the level on its own terms. That is entirely possible. is the worst one being remotely bad either. That's true. It is very brief, and this person brought up an interesting point as well. The water starts draining on eventually, but falling out of the water can actually cause you to lose momentum, so you want to stay inside the water to keep your speed. That is a nice idea. I never thought of it that way, because again, I don't approach Sonic 3 with the idea of must get through levels as fast as possible, speed, momentum, go, go, go. I'm just kind of playing it casually, as if it were a Mario game, as someone else said in the comments. Anything that can be mitigated with replays, Sonic game is not much a problem. Little unintuitive, you're probably talking about the barrel. I think the barrel is just bad game design, because how the fuck is anyone supposed to know what that's going to do on their first playthrough? On subsequent playthroughs, it doesn't matter, but I'm thinking of the first playthrough here. You know, the barrel is no longer my least favorite part of the level, even though I frame it as a thing of, if you think Sandopolis sucks, Carnival Night has this barrel and Sandopolis doesn't, screw you. But, like, that's supposed to mean Sandopolis might be annoying on a first playthrough, but it's not like it has anything like Carnival Night Act 2's barrel. You could totally beat it on a first attempt, if you're lucky. With Carnival Night Act 2, you'd need to know about the barrel going in, and if you don't, good fucking luck. But, with Sandopolis, you could know nothing about the level going in, and you could totally beat it. And that's why I have such a problem with the barrel in Carnival Night Act 2. But obviously, for me playing Carnival Night Act 2, the barrel is not the part that I don't like. I think the top is actually pretty fun. You're talking about this. I've just always felt it to be really unintuitive how you control it in the air, and then it lands on the ground, and suddenly, I think I showed in this footage actually, suddenly, zoom! Like, how does that make any sense? It is a fun set piece, but it's just so weird, and sometimes it doesn't take you where you need to go. I don't get it. It's just another layer of confusion Marble Garden has for me. And here saying, memorize where the obstacles are in Marble Garden. Well, I'd love to do that if every single part of the level didn't look exactly the same, and if I actually knew where the hell I was in the level. I'd love to do that. It's much easier for me to memorize obstacles, locations, in levels where I can actually, like, tell where I am based on level design. Marble Garden is not one of those. Ice Cap Act 2's more lax approach for pretty intentional, short and sweet and calming zone, just catch your breath right before the climax. I disagree with that, just because, to me, launch base is not the end of the game. Yes, it's the end of Sonic 3, the first half of the game, but, like, that's not how the game is anymore. That's not how the game was intended to be, and you can tell, because, like, launch base does not feel like a final level to me at all. Yes, you're stopping the Death Egg, yes, there is a final boss, and in that case of, like, you know, a nice, short, sweet, easy, calming zone, Lava Reef Act 2 executes that much better, in my opinion. I guess it's not short, but it is sweet, and it is calming. And I think Lava Reef Act 2 is just a much better version of that. Fills the same purpose. You're too good at Sonic 3 to really comment fairly on its difficulty. Sky Sanctuary, to me, isn't as calming as it is like, oh shit, the Death Egg's taking off, we gotta get going. I think the calming zone for Sonic and Knuckles is Lava Reef Act 2. And yes, for this, I already replied to this one. Here he's talking about this point in the video where I bring up this lame-o and Flying Battery Act 2, and here's a part where I could have been clearer in the video. I'll admit, like, my wording in the video is not perfect. I could have been clearer about so many things, but this is only the second video essay, for lack of a better word, that I've ever made, so I'm still learning how to present arguments fairly, and things like that. So yes, I know that this thing is a reference to the Wing Fortress. Shut up me. I know that this thing is a reference to the Wing Fortress boss. What I was meaning more by, like, why was it included? Why was it included in the absolute lame state that it is? Like, you just sit there and watch as it destroys itself, which is kind of funny, I guess, but it goes on way too long, and it's just a bunch of nothing. It's a waste of time. That's my problem with it. Also, Wing Fortress's boss sucks, and I don't think it's the best thing to reference, but anyway. I think that also sums up why you hate Oil Ocean, even though you love it simultaneously.
The reason so many people hate Sandopolis Act 2 is because they remember playing it as a 6 or 7-year-old kid and being unable...
So Oil Ocean was a pretty hard zone, and it was hard to beat. I think I had a little trouble beating it as a kid, but to me, I could beat most Sonic 2 levels. I think the ones I really couldn't were Metropolis, Wing Fortress, and Death Egg for a long time. It took me forever to beat those ones, but I think Oil Ocean wasn't one of those. I think the idea is that you're triggering some kind of cooling ventilation system in the conveyor belt. Talking about the smoke being cleared in Sonic Mania. You hit the switch and the smoke clears, and I'm like, what? How does that make sense? Alright, well, is there any final comments we can read now that I'm done with that? Yes, this one. I think otherwise, like, I've already read these, I've already responded to these. If there's any in particular I wanted to feel... Oh yeah, it's a bad level. This goes back to me using objective language in this video when this isn't an objective video. I'm not stating any of this as fact. It's my opinion. I should have clarified that at the start. I forgot to. Maybe I'll clarify it in a pinned comment soon. Yes, and Sandopolis wasn't the first desert zone. There was one in Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, an arcade spin-off. I didn't bring it up because I know nothing about the spin-off, so one of them was bound to prove me wrong eventually. Alright, well, there's definitely going... Oh yeah, a lot of people wanted me to play Sonic 3 AIR, Angel Island Revisited, but like, I don't have the Steam version of Sonic 3 and you can't buy it anymore, so I definitely can't do that. But yeah, that's every comment that I've seen so far on this video. I probably won't make a part 2 of this. I don't want to milk this out, but I hope this helped clarify some things. It was pretty fun. I do definitely like hearing other people's perspectives and opinions and takes. Like, bring them out, bring them at me. I won't stop liking Sandopolis, but I can at least understand why you wouldn't. And that's the main takeaway from this whole discussion. I understand why people don't like this zone, and I also understand why people like Marble Garden or Carnival Night. In fact, I kind of feel bad for putting these two levels down in order to heighten Sandopolis, in my view. Like, I don't know if that makes for a perfectly fair argument. I'm like, this level's awesome. Here's why these other two levels suck randomly partway through, but I just wanted to point out levels that I don't like and why I literally for no other reason than to heighten Sandopolis. Never mind. Now that I've just caught myself making a bad argument, I'm gonna end the video! Thank you all for watching this video, and this video right here, if you did, and as always, I will see you all in the future.